Time now for a look at what's new for film fans this weekend. Of course, in Toronto, we have TIFF, but for other films, we're joined by film critic Richard Crouse. So, Richard, thanks so much for joining us once again. Let's start with the reimagining of a Disney classic. I think I've heard of this one before. It's called Pinocchio, if I'm not wrong.
Pinocchio is the #1 children's story in the entire world, apparently. I didn't know that. At least Wikipedia tells me that. It is now reimagined by DisneyPlus, starring Tom Hanks as Geppetto, the Italian woodworker who carves a boy out of a block of wood and then wishes upon a star for it to come alive. And he does. A couple of things, though. He has to figure out if he's brave enough and courageous enough and good enough to become a real boy, and he goes on an adventure. And so this doesn't differ too much from the 1940s era animated film of Pinocchio. In fact, the look is very much the same. A lot of the characters, the Blue Fairy and Jiminy Cricket, are back. This one is updated a little bit. You don't have Pinocchio smoking cigars in this one, which is probably something a lot of parents will find to be a relief. But it is a faithful, if, a little, just perhaps on the dull side, just a tad on the dull side. But I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's on Disney Plus. I don't know if I would rush out to see this in a theater, but on television, I think it's probably a good family time movie.
And you said Tom Hanks playing Geppetto.
Yeah, Tom Hanks, it's a mix of live action and of computer animation. And Tom Hanks is Geppetto, one of the main characters, and he is live and loud.
All right, and you give it 3 stars. So a hard turn now, as we like to call it in the news biz. Tell us about the horror film Barbarian.
Yeah, this is pretty good stuff. So it is all about an Airbnb where a young woman goes to check in and stay for the night, and she finds out there's somebody else already staying there. Turns out he seems all right, and he says, "Well, listen, it's the middle of the night. Why don't you come in? I'll sleep on the couch, you sleep in the bed, and we'll figure this out in the morning." She feels okay about it, and then some strange things start to happen. And then and I don't know why people do this in horror movies, when she goes down to the basement, it reveals the dark secret that the house is keeping. Cut to Los Angeles. It's bright, it's sunny, there's nothing scary about it except that Justin Long is playing a television star who's been accused of some sexual impropriety. He's going broke, he's been fired from his television show, and he has to sell off all his properties, one of which, of course, is the Airbnb in Detroit. So he goes there to do some of the paperwork and get rid of the house, and gets embroiled in whatever is happening in the house. And I won't give anything away. This is a movie that it is very difficult to tell what's going to happen next. I like that. I found myself edging up to the edge of my seat throughout. It's good stuff. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
All right, and let's keep it on the darker side with Medieval.
Yeah, this is the true-to-life story of a folk hero, of a real guy, Jan Žižka. He's a Czechoslovakian general, only one of 7 generals in history to never lose a battle, and this is his origin story. He's played by Ben Foster in the movie, and he is hired by Lord Boresh, played by Michael Caine, who has a cameo. If you're a huge Michael Caine fan and you're expecting to go see this to see a lot of Michael Caine, you're not going to get that. But he is a major part, or a major push in the story. Žižka has to put a stop to some political intrigue that's happening, and he does so the only way he knows how, which is by staging massive battle sequences. And that's what this movie is really good at. The political intrigue about the Holy Roman Empire and the vacant throne and all that stuff goes around in circles a little bit, but the battle scenes are really quite something. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, this feels like Game of Thrones light. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, and it's in theaters right now.
All right, Richard Crouse, as always, thanks so much for your time.